Okay, and you're 90 years old. And somebody that's 90 years old or even 89 years old that's out pulling tires on a chain, dragging tires around, hooked around their body. I mean, that's pretty.
Not a rope, and the rope's attached to a tire. It wasn't a chain.
Okay, a rope. Okay, so,
What
but
happened is
still.
Jane's husband, Brian Hart, does a lot of long distance. What do you call them?
Like ultra marathons.
He's crazy. And one time he was, what was that? What was he training for on that? He had
an ultra marathon, and he was dragging a tire up and down the
well,
road.
he had
Oh, because it was
peanut butter and
he had to go. He had to go to he was dragging a sled on this race because it was called the Tuscobia 100, and you have to drag a sled behind you. It's up in the northern frozen part of Wisconsin.
Hello, I'm Robin Jeep with the Enlivened Foods podcast. And this is where I interview brilliant innovators and just amazing people that are world changers in what they do. And normally I interview pretty serious topics, and this is a serious topic too, but I have two people who handle this in a more lighthearted way. They have amazing backgrounds, and the last name many of you will probably recognize, you whole food plant-based eaters. This is Jane and Ann Esselstyn. And those of you who know who Dr. Esselstyn is, Caldwell Esselstyn, Ann is his wife, Jane is his daughter. So welcome, Ann and Jane.
Thank you, Robin. And Robin Esselstyn.
Oh, it is Esselstyn?
Esselstyn.
Like where you
yeah,
been?
Of course.
Where you been,
Okay.
Esselstyn?
It's a Dutch name.
Yeah.
And my name's a Dutch name, yes.
Well, I love the name Jeep. I wish we had Jeep. You can remember it.
Yeah.
Yes.
You can spell it.
But I didn't know Esselstyn was a Dutch name. I thought it was more of like a Norwegian name.
No, Van Esselstyn.
Oh, okay.
Actually,
the Y, there was a Y before the Esselstyn. That was YESS.
So was it VAN or VON?
that was
Van.
V.A. Van.
Van, okay.
Essie's, yeah.
He is Dutch.
Esselstyn.
Essie's mother was Swedish, and his
Erickson.
father, his father, the Dutch part.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and I guess Esselstyn means the stones on the river Stein. So stepping
Over the stones, over the river.
Stovers over the river.
Well, see, that's why I thought it was Stein. I thought it was Norwegian, and it was like the German Stein,
No.
but it's pronounced Sten in Dutch.
Anyway,
Who knows? But it was stepping stones. They're here to be part of your podcast today. Thank you.
Okay, wonderful, wonderful. I'm glad the stepping stones are here. Maybe that's what you should call yourselves.
Jeep instead.
Can drive the Jeep over the stepping stones.
Okay, but to get started, I just want to talk a little bit about your background. I know, Jane, that you're a registered nurse. You both have kind of a medical background, and Anne sort of because of her family and what she's been doing. You weren't actually, were you a nurse, Anne?
No, I taught school for 30 years.
300 years.
Yes. And we'll talk about that. Well, let's just talk. How old are you, Anne?
90.
Woo!
90 years old. Wow. Congratulations for being around that long. You've seen a lot. Wisdom.
Yeah.
So you were a registered nurse, Jane. You're retired from that, I guess.
No.
You're still doing it?
No. I am an RN, but I don't work in a clinical setting. I have done research with the Cleveland Clinic and a couple of studies, and I have used it mostly how I've been so busy with, we've got like 5 different cookbooks that we've done, and so 7 total, whatever. I'm busy with this and our YouTubes and our events and things. So I don't work in the clinical setting, but I got my RN when I was 40, actually.
And well, that was kind of late. I guess well, you're from a medical family.
Oh, no, our table discussion was all about, growing up, all about medicine. It's all we kind of knew and all we heard about.
So we count on Jane's nursing skills now.
No,
when we need them.
Yes.
Well, so Anne, you have a history Your grandfather was one of the founders of the Cleveland Clinic. That's
Mhm.
impressive. And then your father didn't he was a successful, was he a surgeon?
Oh, general surgeon, right.
He's a pioneer in so many
Yeah.
bonkers. It was kind of wild. I mean,
He was,
it was the Wild West of medicine when your grandfather, like
Yeah.
the head chief of the Cleveland Clinic,
Yes.
he performed the first blood transfusion. He invented specialized medicine with working it as a unit at the Cleveland Clinic. That's like their symbol is the four corners. They each had their specialties and they would do what they wanted, and people made fun of them, thinking, "Oh, he'll fail in a heartbeat." And here, now the whole world is specialized medicine,
interesting,
almost to a fault.
my nephew is writing a book about my grandfather and his wife, Grace McBride, and Crile. And the thing that struck me in reading this first part of the book is how much of modern medicine has its base in some of the ideas that George Crile had. I mean, it's just stunning. I was like blown away.
Well, for example,
Just, I can't even tell you because it was his ideas, his
he
thoughts.
he defined
his-
shock. Like he couldn't see, why can someone die of like blood loss and of this just shock? Like what is happening in shock? Just physiologically, what's occurring, and figuring out blood transfusions. And when he did the first blood transfusion was between two brothers who did not have the same blood type.
Oh, wow. What happened?
They were fine.
They were fine.
So, yeah, which is so anathema to how we treat blood, which is good. It's good that we have understanding of it now. And he was doing so much surgery, and they've all been surgeons. The chief, who was your grandfather, my great grandfather, Barney, who is George Crile, her father. I mean, he did change the radical mastectomy to a lumpectomy, which
Yes.
for so long was considered like, oh, how dare you just do that, leave women vulnerable. And he said, basically, like, take out the tooth, not the whole jaw. If you have something wrong, just take out the lump, not the whole, muscle, lymph node, everything, all the tissue. It was so disfiguring. Anyway, so we've come from that radical, or just, I don't know,
Out of the box.
curious,
Out of the box.
disruptive, out of the box way of thinking and looking at the current standard of care is sort of in the mindset and the discussion of our family for generations now. And whole food plant-based approach to lifestyle related diseases is a pretty powerful one.
And when my husbands began doing that, we were definitely like, what?
Because people
Well,
just
I want to ask you about that. I want to go into that because so now your husband, Essie, doesn't he, it was his father, wasn't his, yeah, Dr. Caldwell Esselstyn, was his father a doctor?
Yeah.
Yes.
And was his grandfather a doctor? Or just
No,
his father?
that's his
Okay,
father.
so his father, so he grew up around medicine, and then he was a traditional general surgeon, was he?
If you want to
Yes.
call it traditional, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, he's not a traditional person, but he was functioning as a general surgeon. So what I want to know, which I don't know, is how on earth you and your husband got involved in whole food plant-based eating. When did that happen? How did it happen?
So what was, if
Go ahead.
I'll pick it up. As a general surgeon, it's just the guts he
Right.
did the thyroid,
That was particularly his baby.
thyroid, breast cancer, not the, what's it called? When you get things fixed, plastic surgery, but just like breast cancer, thyroid, and all the guts, lip, not the heart, not the lungs, but just
Okay.
thyroid, breast, and all the guts. And he always talks about how he was trying to help these women. He felt like he was a carpenter, just sawing people open, pulling things out, putting them back together. And he wanted to help, as he says, the next unsuspecting victim who this might be occurring to. And he just looked around the globe kind of epidemiologically and saw that the occurrence of breast cancer rates was just almost nil in some places and so high in others. And it wasn't the air or the water, it was clearly the food. And looking more closely at that, he was like, goodness, this, we're gonna go with the no meat, no dairy, no
Well,
oil, no
he
fat, no.
decided actually that he was going to ask patients to do it, that we had to do it first.
Yeah, if
Uh-huh.
he,
So
if he
when
was gonna
we
ask,
started,
yeah.
there was no internet. There
Well, when was this? What year?
83-ish.
Okay, 83-ish.
But
Mm.
on the internet, but on
Two
the
or-
West Coast was McDougal, but
No,
the West
Ornish.
Coast was
Ornish.
far away. No, I didn't even know about it. We had never
Did know
heard
about
of
Ornish.
Ornish.
Okay, yeah, McDougal's kind of
Never, ever
similar.
heard of Ornish. That's the crazy thing is, as he started this idea, knowing that there was the McDougal sort of thing, but,
Yes.
and never heard of Ornish until
Had he heard of Pritikin back then?
Started to hear about him
maybe
a little
afterward.
bit.
But I mean,
a
the
little bit
whole
like 84,
idea was
85.
Yeah.
this,
Yeah.
what he was doing.
It's like inventing the airplane in two different parts of the globe, like in Brazil and in the Wright brothers.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So he's figuring it out on his own from looking at, with seeing what, and
But
putting,
then he was traveling out in California. No, one time, one of his patients said there was the most interesting article, I think it was in Discovery magazine, about somebody doing the same thing as you're doing. And that's the first time he knew about Ornish. So, I mean, it's interesting.
okay, well, so you all had to do it first. So did you give up meat at that point, or was it just
No meat,
dairy?
no dairy. We didn't
Meat,
and
dairy,
and in the very beginning, there was some egg whites.
because it was more no fat focused, no
Yeah.
added fat, no saturated fat kind of stuff. And so there was
So you
some
removed
fat-
everything that had saturated fat.
What's that?
And so how did it work for you all when you all were doing it? Were you eating a lot of vegetables then? I mean, did you start
We
eating?
were eating rice and beans.
Okay, rice and beans. And so you had, how
we
old
had-
were your
We had
kids?
been in Puerto Rico and it had rice and beans and thought it was delicious. And so when we weren't
They are-
rice and beans, and that's now still our go-to at least a couple times a week and for guests and
Oh, Christmas Eve, like our Christmas dinner, rice and beans with all these amazing toppings and fixins. But you guys would eat, I mean, it started getting really inventive because they were no longer making sort of the things that you would eat that had meat and dairy. You know, they would have like flank steak or chicken or pork chops or whatever. I mean, back in way back when. But then it was like cold turkey, no meat. So they were having burritos and they were having enchiladas and they were inventing rice and beans and they were looking at doing things with tofu, not knowing if stir
no,
fries.
we didn't even start tofu.
No, well,
I meant
eventually.
way back.
Okay, well, I want to know how old were the kid, were you all? You and your brother and
If-
brother?
If you have read the introduction to our book, and I will direct people here if they want to hear
Okay.
more into our book, Be a Plant-Based Woman Warrior, the whole intro is about just that.
Hold that up for a second longer. What that book? Let's just go ahead and get that in there. Be a plant-based woman warrior. Live fierce.
Live
fierce, stay bold, eat delicious.
Great. So people can get that book now.
Yeah, and thank you, because it was a New York Times bestseller. Thank you for your support, everybody. But what happened is my parents, it was the early mid 80s, and my brothers, Rip, Ted, Jane, Zeb, the four of us, 4 kids, 4 years in a row, basically. Two of us were in college, Rip and Ted, and then I was just going to college, and one of my youngest brother was home, and suddenly, over the phone, we call home and like, my little brother said, Mommy and Daddy aren't eating any more meat or butter or yogurt or cheese or eggs and I was like, what's going on? What are they eating? I was kind of like, okay, because I didn't like meat. I know it's
She
weird.
never did.
I never liked meat. So I was like, okay, what's this gonna look like? But it felt fine. We never ate eggs growing up, actually. We always had whole wheat. Our house was the worst house on the block for people to come over and snack. We were an
Yes.
ingredient household, not a
Actually,
snacky
Jane,
household.
we drank skim milk and had no eggs because Essie's father at 48 had had a heart attack.
Yeah.
Also the
That
cholesterol.
was our attempt way back
Hmm.
in the 60s, 70 to be better.
So you all were somewhat, and I guess,
They were somewhat different.
and I guess Dr. Esselstyn was, I mean, since he had been an Olympic gold medalist, he had, I mean, did he have some concept of, I mean, of health and nutrition
Yeah,
to try
he
to,
was always, he was,
But that was just like
exercised always.
exercise. It wasn't.
yeah.
I mean, I think because of his exposure to medicine and seeing, like, it was kind of clear that butter was bad for you and smoking was bad for you, and a lot of eggs had a lot of just
Cholesterol.
cholesterol.
Don't
So
you know, you see all that, of course,
Oh,
when
yeah.
you open somebody up and you see
Yeah.
it smells bad. Because who was that? I heard a doctor, that one of the gastroenterologists I went to was an Indian man. And he said that his mother always told him, don't make your gut a cemetery. And I'm sure when you open these people up and they've been eating a bunch of meat, I mean, I've heard it smells really bad.
Well, anyway, my husband was always slim and very, but I can remember the day when he would have a bagel with mayonnaise and peanut butter on it.
That's pretty bad.
It sounds so gross.
Awful.
It sounds so like
I hated mayonnaise growing up. I never could stand it.
I loved it. It had to be Hellman's.
oh my. Ugh.
Yeah, it could not, no salad dressing. Had to be either Hellman's or that Kraft with the lemon in it. My mother,
Awful.
but I just, yeah, I couldn't tolerate it. Nasty.
Um, but
So anyway, so you all, let's move on because we've only got about an hour. You all were, came from all this health and then medical history, and Dr. Esselstyn kind of figured it out. And so you all started eating whole food, plant-based, no fat, just fat, what was naturally in the grains and in the foods. And then I mean, I've seen, okay, and you're 90 years old. And somebody that's 90 years old or even 89 years old that's out pulling tires on a chain, dragging tires around, hooked around their body. I mean, that's pretty.
not a rope, and the rope's attached to a tire. It wasn't a chain.
Okay, a rope. Okay, so,
What
but
happened is
still,
Jane's husband, Brian Hart, does a lot of long distance. What do you call them?
Like ultra marathons.
He's crazy. And one time he was, what was that? What was he training for on that? He had
An ultra marathon, and he was dragging a tire up and down the
well,
road.
he had
Oh, because it was
peanut butter and
he had to go to he was dragging a sled on this race because it was called the Tuscobia 100, and you have to drag a sled behind you. It's up in the northern frozen part of Wisconsin or something, but it's not an assisted race, so you have to have a sled with you, and in that sled you have to have a stove, a sleeping bag, and 3,000 calories.
that's
So he had to have all that and a sled, and of course you have like extra shoes or socks or layers and things like that. So so he was mimicking dragging the sled by dragging a tire,
and he was dragging down our street. And I said, Brian, let me try that. And so it wasn't all that bad. And our street sort of slides down a little, but coming back, it was harder. I mean, because when you're, and then actually the worst was I got COVID, whenever,
Two
Christmas. And
I
didn't know I had COVID.
We always drag our Christmas trees down to our bonfire at the end of our road.
And so Jane thought, oh, it'd be good. We'll just drag the Christmas trees behind the tire.
On top of the tires.
So I was trying to drag the Christmas tree down the street with the tire and the Christmas tree.
And I'm like, come
And
on,
I had
Mommy,
COVID.
let's go.
and you had COVID the same
We didn't
time.
know. We didn't know she had
Oh,
COVID.
okay.
The next day she was like, no wonder it was so hard. I have COVID.
I just can't believe this. So, do you think that somebody your age that ate just a normal standard American diet could drag a tire down the street? And
Sure.
what?
Yes.
It depends on,
I mean,
you
it
know,
just
how
depends on
I
what,
mean,
they have knees and hips.
if
well,
they,
I don't know many people. I mean, I've known, I'm 71, so I mean, I know people, my mother and these people, they couldn't do that in a million years.
Well,
well,
I mean,
every
they just begin.
day,
okay.
Anne's been working on it every day. Like every day, Anne's doing like yoga or running or, you know, just moving constantly. And we are as old as our spines and our grip. So she's always working on her spines and just gripping and lifting. And, you know, she
No,
does,
I
we
do
do, you
work.
do workout classes and
What-
yoga, which I think is essential for movement.
And Jane is
No, but
incredible
not-
good in yoga. But I must say, what happened to me during, well, a few years ago, our son Ted said I had to get a Peloton for my husband because he would love it. And I thought, no, this is ridiculous. And finally there was a big sale and I thought, I'll just do it. I got it. He wouldn't even get on the bike. He didn't.
who
no,
wouldn't?
Essie,
Ted? You
my
didn't say-
Essie.
You didn't say that.
Oh, so there it was in her house and I got on it and didn't like it. And then Jane has every year a women's conference in March.
March around women's.
This is the first year she may not have it in a while, but
been
and
10
at
years.
this conference, it was 10 years. Our daughter-in-law, Polly Labar, was the last person to speak. She's a brilliant speaker. And one of the things she said that if you want to own something, you have to do it for 40 days. And I thought, okay, I'm going to ride the Peloton for 40 days before breakfast. And so I called Polly and said, I'm going to do this. And Polly said, all right, but call me every day after you've done it.
Text me.
Text me, text me. So every day I texted Polly. And on the
Yes.
20th day, I said, Polly, why 40 days? And she said, the power of the universe is in you then. So on the 40th day, I thought, woo, I don't have to do it anymore. Well, I got off the bike. I got on the bike. No, I did. I stood by the bike and thought, I don't have to. And then I thought, I have to. So since then, and that's a couple years ago, I have this problem that I can't have breakfast until I've exercised for at least 20 minutes. It's a terrible problem, actually.
Well, now I want to, okay, what is this, the power of the universe after 40 days? What does this mean?
40 days seems
You
to be have some sort of universal draw, you know.
Well, you try doing something for 40 days.
18 days
Yeah,
is kind
I
of when
mean-
you tip into a new habit forming, and then 40 days you're really getting it inquired. And like they said, like,
Okay,
I mean,
okay.
like the
I'm-
Bible had 40 days of someone Christ in the wilderness or whatever.
I understand it. I understand it with
Robin,
animals.
Yeah.
translate this to food. If somebody feels they can't eat plant-based, I said, all right,
Yeah.
just do it for 40 days. Try that. And it's surprising how much it becomes a part of you.
Well, it's that pattern thing, like, with an animal, like they have a path. I lived in Colorado and I lived behind my house was a bear path and it was a problem. And the bears for generations had taken this path and there was no way in the world you were going to stop those bears from taking that path that ended up going down my staircase, my outdoor staircase. You couldn't, because so that's what happens is that pattern, in our brain gets established, etched. And so, yeah, I can see how that would work. That would work. Well, that's interesting. The 40 days for that, because I know about it's like 21 days to change, to build a new habit. And then of course, then you etch that pattern of that habit. So now you've got four children. Are they all whole food plant-based now?
And all
Well,
10
yeah.
grandchildren.
All of our spouses are whole food plant-based, and all of our kiddos, their grandchildren and great grandchildren are plant-based. I mean, he's one, so he's not really eating food yet. But my husband, Brian Hart, actually started our nonprofit, which is Esselstyn Foundation. And he's the executive director. I'm the program director of that. which is part of why I'm not doing my women's conference this year after 10 years. But it is wonderful to be able to work with this as a nonprofit. Because for so long we were trying to get interest and research in the medical side of things, and then we're trying to do the events side of things, which is a business. So having a nonprofit where we can just show up with our information and give it away for free because we get, where it's publicly supported, is just so wonderful.
When you don't have to deal with the money, yes.
Well, we have to raise money, but people are
Yeah,
very
to raise money.
So it's wonderful because our mission is, to educate about the power of whole food plant-based nutrition to prevent and reverse lifestyle related diseases.
And speaking of spouses, Brian is just brilliant on what he knows and his passion with
Newsletters.
plant-based. He writes a newsletter for the
Foundation.
Foundation that is stunningly, I can't wait.
Well, it's a little edgy sometimes.
But he
Well, that's good. Well, I like that, but not
Yeah.
everybody does.
Yeah.
So tell me what the organizations or what you have. You've got is it called the Esselstyn Family Foundation?
No,
That's-
Esselstyn. Well, and the website is esselstynfamilyfoundation.org, but it is the Esselstyn Foundation because Esselstyn Family makes it sound like we have all this funding that we're
Right. Oh yeah, like the Mellon
We're-
Foundation or something like
for
that.
grants, giving out grants. We're not. We're
Right.
getting funds, and we're trying to get into hospitals or medical schools or fire departments or churches, temples, synagogues. I go to a home ec class at the local high school, and we have a blast making all kinds of plant-based food with kids. Like I love the younger, the better. I mean, older folks, hooray, you can change your diet. It's wonderful. It's more relevant for them, but to get the healthy patterns in young,
Right. Young.
just so easy. It's like learning another language. It's awesome.
Jane is
So that's the mission of the EsselstynFoundation.org. The mission is to
Educate about the power of whole food plant-based nutrition to prevent and reverse lifestyle related diseases, which is
Okay.
something you probably have said 1,000 times in your,
Yes.
yeah.
But I'm trying to convince other people. And so, I mean, that's one of the reasons I have you on. You've got Anne, who's 90 years old, who exercises every day. And I am sure that your diet has contributed to this because I know other people that were your age that tried to exercise and it just didn't work. I mean, we both know the energy you get from eating this way. We all know this. I mean, and look at my diet, so limited. And yet I have all the nutrients when my nutrient levels are checked. And even though I've been very ill, I've been told that I'm the healthiest sick person that people have ever seen because I have that mast cell issue, but yet I have tons of energy. Like if I don't feel good, if my mast cells are firing and stuff and I don't feel good, I can't go to sleep because I have too much energy. My mind's still going. I've got my energy levels are still good. I just have inflammation in a certain part of my body. So I would not be alive today if I did not eat like this. I mean,
You eat greens and
green,
beans and
greens and beans.
there was
greens and
something
beans and pineapple.
else. Oh,
Do you, so you don't eat grapes or anything like that?
No, no, I react terribly to them.
So what about things like turmeric and ginger?
No, I don't do any spices. I can't have any garlic, no onions. I just have a little salt. That's it. That's no pepper. I can't have any of those things. My mast cells just react to all of that. And I've been, doing things to try to quiet it down. It was the two doctors, the last two doctors I worked with, which I don't even bother anymore, they said it is your nervous system. Your nervous system got jacked up in that accident. And so you have this chronic jacked up nervous system that is causing your immune system to overact because it thinks everything's dangerous. So I do somatic exercises. I do, the breathing. I have some relaxation things that I do.
But you can't do physical activity. You can't be.
I do. I walk and I can hike, but I do notice that a lot of times when I do too much exertion, my mast cells will consider that a threat. But yes, I can walk and I can do some hiking, but not if I overdo it, then I'm going to pay the price for a couple of days.
Mhm.
So anyway, but this
I
diet,
wonder you don't have our cookbooks because you don't need any cookbooks.
I can't, yeah. And listen, I was a chef. I mean, before I became a whole food plant-based chef, and that's how I started with Joel, I formulated a lot of his early recipes. I did really fancy gourmet stuff. I mean, I did stuff that, I feel like I'm doing penance for maybe heart attacks that people had because I used to live in Vienna, Austria. I was married to an Austrian prince, and there was a lot of entertaining and a lot of fancy food. So I learned a lot of that stuff, and then I started a catering business. So I've always been a foodie. I've always been into food. And so to have the thing that I was most into that I just loved taken away from me, but I will tell you, I love cutting vegetables. It's meditation for me. I go into a zone. And so I cut a lot of vegetables. I make, I eat like usually at least two good sized bowls of this food. And well, I usually eat 3 times a day. And I do it usually each time I fix it fresh because I want to get the most nutrients out of it. Plus, I like to go in there and chop my food and prepare my food. It's soothing to my nervous system. And I hear people, when I try to introduce them to this way of eating, and they say they don't want to be in the kitchen. They don't like to be in the kitchen. And I'm just thinking, gosh, I mean, could this possibly be meditative, or are there people that really just, it doesn't, I mean, this makes no sense to me. Okay, human beings, we have to eat. I mean, we have to eat. So I can't imagine that God would have made human beings that would hate preparing their food or gathering their food. I can't imagine. So it seems to me that's something aberrant when somebody doesn't, they've got some issue with the kitchen or some childhood issue or whatever that happened that would make them not like to be in the kitchen.
That most men today, young men, are cooking more than my generation of men.
Oh, that's for sure. Yeah. Like my
That's
And
husband,
why do you think?
my husband's better a cook than anyone in our family. And we're all, cookbook authors, but he's head and shoulders better.
And he
Well,
arranged and he arranges the food beautifully.
well, that's
Mhm.
lovely. So I think we all have this inclination. We must. I mean, we have to, because we wouldn't be able to eat. So there's something aberrant about not wanting to put your food together. I just have to think that. It's something, yeah, it's not natural. It's not natural to not want to put your food together. So anyway, what you all do, let's talk about one of the things. Okay, first I want to just go. So we've got the Esselstyn Foundation. I know Rip has got his stuff that he has going, and he's done, he's been very successful with his
And
stuff.
he's
And I'm
got
sure he worked.
fabulous food line that
Yeah.
Yes,
So she's
we love.
and I'm sure he works very hard.
Mm-hmm.
And so you've got, so you've got the Esselstyn Foundation, you've got Rip's stuff that he does. I'm just thinking about all the things your family does. What else?
Oh, and so we have our foundation. We have our YouTube channel that we have almost 400 recipes on that now. Again, you probably aren't looking for recipes, so maybe you haven't run across it, but it's
No,
plant-based,
we watched.
Jane Esselstyn and Ann Esselstyn on YouTube, and
Wait, it's plant-based.
with Jane Esselstyn and Ann Esselstyn. And somehow we've gotten awards from YouTube and stuff because we have a lot of people who are interested, which is so great that people are looking for it's just a recipe.
So Jane started this and I was so cross. I thought, this is stupid.
When did you start it?
About 9 years ago, 8-9 years ago. I can't believe it.
I just was on there like,
She was like, what is this ridiculous thing? Because we did cooking demos for so many years. And she was just, the very first video, you should watch it. She's standing there like a mad kid in a kindergarten class, like, I don't want to participate. And it ended up just taking off. And now it's normalized.
People love it. I mean, I hear from other, I ask if people have seen this because I've said I'm going to be doing a podcast with you all. And they, oh yeah, I love watching them.
See, I don't do
Oh,
anything on the internet. It's not, I don't have any,
Email is the farthest you want to go into the internet. Yeah.
well, I have to
and
do.
you do look at your email. You do look at your email. I know that.
I look at my email and I will respond to texts occasionally if it's our family.
Will
I
you
put-
respond? Oh yeah. I'm sorry.
And also, so we have our YouTube channel. We obviously have our cookbooks that we have written over the last 20 years, I guess, was starting with my dad's prevent and reverse heart
Right.
disease. And we did the prevent and reverse heart disease cookbook.
Cookbook.
which is
Yes.
comparing to that. My brother Rip did his Engine 2 book. And then
Yes.
I did Plant Strong cookbook and an informational book with him. And then we did our 7-day rescue book, which again I did with Rip. And
You have your private.
and then there's an Engine 2 cookbook, which is, like his Engine 2 diet book
Yes. Right.
it was kind of early on, and we've changed a few things. So the Engine 2 cookbook was great. And then my mom and I the last thing we've done together was be a plant-based woman warrior, live fierce, stay bold, eat delicious book, because we've been doing so much with heart disease and so much with firefighters. We were like, let's just do what we do and
Well,
do what
right.
we do.
This
And it's
book
not
is
really that
mostly
different.
Jane. I mean, this book really
It is both of us, Mommy. It's both of us.
Oh, well,
No, I mean, it is both of us, but I have to just insert here that our publisher said, you guys are really known for your heart disease prevention work. So all the recipes in this Women Warrior book, we want to indicate those that are heart disease friendly. And if they're not heart disease friendly, how can they become heart disease friendly? Which is nice. And some recipes have no notes because they can't be heart disease friendly. It's, a recipe, for example, called Lucky Nuts is just all these nuts, put
Right.
together with like a glaze of you would know with your cheffiness. It's a little bit of tiny bit of maple syrup with just a little bit of curry and rosemary and just the notes of other sort of savory, but dressed with sweet. And then you put a little bit on the nuts and they crisp up and they're
Right.
amazing. And they cannot make that heart disease friendly because you should not have nuts if you have heart disease.
Right. Because I was going to ask you about that because Dr. Esselstyn's, it's no nuts with his heart disease stuff.
This is Jane and Anne's Woman Warrior book,
so
not
this
heart
book-
disease.
Right.
what
So you have to
is the
separate.
best book if you have heart disease because it's
No
got
nuts, no avocado,
It's not.
none of that. None of those.
You're just getting the oils from like grains or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, the fat from that.
I mean, fats
Well-
and everything, as you know.
Okay, so I
The
really
interesting thing
And-
about
and-
heart disease.
Okay, go
The
ahead.
interesting thing about heart disease is that those patients who come to my husband who have really got severe heart, I mean,
Yeah.
for instance, they don't know whether to have bypass or to eat and whatever, what they have to stay on that train of really being careful what they eat.
Yeah.
And they
Compliant.
can't get better and feel, okay, I can just go out and eat because it comes back.
back because they have damage, right?
Or they have a proclivity to lay down plaque. I mean, they just have
Right.
that.
so
Okay.
that they really have to keep on it.
It's like the type 2 diabetics. They can bring their blood sugar down, but if they go back to eating the way they were eating before, it's all going to come back.
No, because they have the proclivity
Right.
to have the intramyocellular lipids build up, just the
Right.
way have, like, we make white hair. Like, I've always looked like I'm way older than I am. Like, my mom was almost 90 and I'm in my 50s, and people were like, "Oh, you twins?" And I'm like, "Really?" Anyway, but the last thing I wanted to tell you about what we're up to is that we host live things every year, and they are these intimate, like 20-25 people, one day sort of seminar / just food fest, if you will. It's very food focused, here live outside of Cleveland, Ohio. And we usually just call them Be a Plant-Based Woman Warrior, or be a plant-based warrior, because some men are so threatened by the word woman. So we have
Yes.
them live, usually twice a year, but we're gonna have it 3 times next year in 2026. So
and we have it in this most gorgeous place that was my grandfather's, and we still have it. And it's the highest point in Northeast Ohio, or one of them, and looks out over Lake Erie. It's a gorgeous place.
Beautiful. And so how do you do, are these the same people? Are these people you invite, or how, the
we
people
just
that
offer it, people sign up, they have to pay for it, you know, so this is like the Jane, this is not the nonprofit, this is Jane and Ann's sort of, it's my business is called Healthcare is Self-Care, but it's just
Jane's business.
janeesselstyn.com is basically what it is. So anyway, that's
So
the breadth of what we do.
that's a lot. And so how much, like, for people to come to these events, what does it usually cost? And where do they stay? Do they stay there? Do they stay in
No,
a
no,
hotel?
no,
There's a
they stay
hotel.
wherever they, because some local people do it, but there's hotels right nearby.
Oh, you had people from
And-
California, you had people from
Oh,
all
people
over.
come in and they go to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, or they'd have.
Do they, can they camp there, or do you have any?
No,
Okay.
no, it's
Okay.
it's a private residence. And we have the cost is like a 1 day, we're there from like, I don't know, like before 10 to at 5:30 or 6.
Not bad.
But we tend to be there that late. Anyway, the cost is around 400 for the day. And we roll them out the door. They're so full. They've had food almost every recipe is, we have like 31 recipes we do that day.
And
It is
they
incredible.
make them some of those recipes.
Yeah, we
themselves.
have it so that
Okay, so it's mostly a cooking thing. So
not necessarily, it's
What-
information
Well,
and cooking.
what do
and
you
recipe.
do there?
We drag
Wait,
the
so what-
tire.
No. We structure it.
Do you demonstrate that for them first, Anne?
No,
they-
no,
they-
everyone just does it.
They do it.
Yeah, so we have a whole curriculum throughout the day. I mean, our whole lives have been educators, so it's a very, it's a hello and a welcoming. Everyone meets everybody, and then we do demos and discussions, and then we have a presentation, and then we have a make your own meal. So they're building, they're eating and incorporating all that we just did. Then we have a break, and we talk, and then we hike a little bit because we have to get back to eating. And we drag
Right.
the tire, and we have a mocktails. And
It's fun.
then we do more hands-on cooking with everybody, and my father comes as a little presentation, and we have a big meal together as if there's any room in our bellies. But it's food focused, education focused, and just all bundled together.
Now, I do have a very important question, and I'm going to direct it to Anne. So, Anne, this is probably a question you've never ever heard. Where do you get your protein?
Gosh, that's so interesting you ask, because I have never understood where I get my protein. It just sort of magically appears. Come on.
I'm like, well, we have too much hair. We're not missing any protein. We have too much energy. Like, I don't know what people think protein's magic.
Well, it's just the obsession. I mean, the trend, the
It's
animal agriculture's little propaganda thing.
It's really absolutely so interesting that people feel like that. It's
Mhm.
just,
Well, but look at that. Everything is about protein. Your protein, have you make the protein smoothie? I mean, with our muffins, look, here's one of our muffins. Here's the one that I'm going to send to you all, this blueberry one. But we've got the call out on the front. It's
Oh.
got 5 grams of protein.
oh no.
But that might not be enough for you all.
Robin, you can't eat those, so
No.
you've created them?
I didn't create this one. I did create this one originally. We have a partner that was he was with Walmart. I used to teach culinary nutrition to the Walmart home office, to executives and buyers. That's part of the reason Walmart has all these, like their line of canned beans and all that stuff, because I was teaching the buyers there about all this and expose them to your father's book and all that stuff. So anyway, he married a woman, and I was sick and tired of formulating these things because I couldn't taste them. I'd have to chew them up and spit it out before I could absorb it, and my mast cells would react to it.
Oh,
And I just couldn't taste. Part of tasting is swallowing. And so I formulated all of the other ones. And then she said she could try it. And she formulated this one, and it was good. And I said, why don't you work on the other ones and see if you can make them even better? And we wanted to take out some of the coconut from them. So we took out some of the coconut, put some other stuff in. And but the chai spice one still has that coconut, and then the cacao cherry crave. I mean, with chocolate, there's going to be saturated fat. Can't get around it.
Yeah.
But anyway, we did this one with oat flour. There's no coconut flour in it, and she did an excellent job with this, and so I'm very happy. So she is now our formulator. I don't have to mess with this anymore. I do podcasts and stuff for Enliven Foods and other things that I can do.
That's great. That's
Yeah.
perfect. I mean, isn't it nice how it just has
Evolves.
evolves?
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, exactly what you need comes when you need it.
Mhm.
So what you do is this show. I love this show. Mark and I watch this show. Mark is my business partner and my housemate here. They're three business partners, founders with Enliven Foods, and he's like my best friend. And one of the things we sometimes do is whenever we hear you say, Jane, Jane, in those podcasts, we go, Jane. Do you know how she does that? Well, you're used to it. She's been doing it to you
Jane.
all your whole life. Jane, Jane, Jane.
Jane.
Yeah, that's right. Jane, Jane. So we love those podcasts. And other people I know that watch it, I'd never told them about it, that watch it. They love them too. They're so funny. Have you been approached by any of the cooking channels?
Well, I think that I think TV is going the way of the buffalo. I hate to say it
Yeah,
like that.
I do too. I do too.
So I think that
What's going to take its place?
no, we're just gonna stay where we are. I mean,
All
we're
right.
not
But,
looking, we don't
but
want to be sponsored. We don't want to have commercials around Ozempic when we're doing, I
oh
mean, we want to just do our own thing.
yeah,
I
I think it's great. How many
said,
viewers do you have so far?
What's that?
How many viewers do you have now?
no idea.
We have like 169,000 or something subscribers, and who subscribe to you mean our YouTube channel, or do you mean on Instagram, or?
Your YouTube channel where they're watching that show you do.
It's just a video. Yeah, our videos. That is, yeah, I can look it up right now.
Well, let's make sure everybody, because now they're going to be curious about this. Let's make sure everybody knows exactly. So they go to your YouTube channel, Plant-Based with Jane Esselstyn and Ann Esselstyn, correct?
Yep.
Good. And I'm going to put all this. This will all be in the link so that people.
154,000 subscribers. Apologies, I was wrong. And only 361 videos. We got to get to 400. Come on.
Well, it's fantastic what you all are doing, and you make it look. I mean, the food is delicious that you do, and it looks it looks fun. That's what people need to see, that this can be fun.
Well, food is doable. It's just completely doable. People think like, I could never. It's like, well, somebody did, and it's not that hard.
I can't wait to try your muffins.
Yeah, I'm so curious.
They're good. They're good. They're very good. I mean, I chew them up and spit them out. So
But I'm curious that you guys use coconut flour, because I've only used it a few times and it's so complicated and it behaves so bizarrely to me. Like, I don't know, it absorbs so much water, you need so much more. And I thought, I can't use this stuff. Ugh.
well, we use in the other ones we used almond flour and coconut flour. We switched now to sunflower flour and the coconut flour, but we got the texture. Believe me, we tried just numerous iterations of this. And if you had too much coconut flour, it was too crumbly. But if you didn't have enough coconut flour, it was gummy. So we had to get that balance.
Does sunflower flour help? What does that do?
It works pretty much the same as the almond flour, but we wanted to use that because a lot of people have nut allergies. So we wanted to be able to have some allergen-free ones. And so that's how we got into that. And when I had my restaurants, I did them with spelt flour. I did, sweeten them with dates, and I did spelt flour, and I had, all different kind of flavors. And I used to sell like $400 a day of these muffins and interesting enough, a lot of them done it, and they wouldn't spike it. They wouldn't spike that much. Of course, the dates are mostly glucose. And so they're considered a low or medium glycemic food. And then there was I had so much fiber. I always had beans in these things. And as you know, the beans end up blunting the sugar spikes. So I had a lot of beans. I had beans in there. That was my whole deal, was dates and beans. And then I had whole spelt flour. And those were like, people went nuts over there. They'd buy like, could come in and buy 2 dozen of these muffins at like $4 a muffin. And that was how we got into this. We were trying to figure out what kind of muffin to make, but then there were so many people who were gluten intolerant. So we didn't want to do the spelt. And so I had this memory of hot chocolate souffles from, and I had them in Austria a lot, and they were just so, so wonderful. And I wanted to create something that was whole food plant-based that tasted like that chocolate souffle. And so that's when we came out with the cacao cherry crave, this one. And this one, to tell you, I mean, I'll tell you what the ingredients are in them now. It's ground dates, date sweetened chocolate chips, sunflower seed flour, organic chickpea flour, cacao nibs, unsweetened tart cherries,
Ooh,
organic ground flaxseed. And then we created our own sodium-free baking powder. So that's going to be on the market soon.
Oh,
And yeah, we're going to be
That's
market. And this is going on Amazon this month, I think. Then there was and then ground vanilla bean, kale powder, psyllium husk powder, and tapioca flour. So I'll just tell you, is there any coconut flour in this anymore? I don't see any coconut flour.
send us that one.
Okay, but let me tell you, the saturated fat is 5 grams in one muffin, because that's coming mostly from those
Okay.
cacao nibs, and we do have the higher fat cocoa powder. So that's where that's coming from. So you want, well, what? Okay, so
We'd love to try them. What's your baking powder?
this one has 1 gram of saturated fat.
What's
What
we
is
did-
no
baking?
soda?
I thought Hain baking powder is no added.
it's no longer on the market. They took it off the market.
What? Hain's did?
Yeah.
This Hain sodium free. So we created one, and I did formulate that because I didn't have to taste it. It just had to perform. So I created a sodium free baking powder, and so that's going to
God.
be.
Well, you got to send us out the link to get that. How do we get it?
Well, we don't have it yet. We're now trying to. Mark, has that manufacturer co-packer gotten back with us?
Yes, we'll go.
Okay.
Okay. So we have a co-pack. We've had to find a co-packer to make it, because when you make baking powder, everything changes, because it has to be a very, they have to have dehumidification. You have to have certain type of container, certain kind of seals. I mean, Rip knows about all this kind of stuff. All this manufacturing stuff you have to deal with these different products. So, anyway, hopefully we'll have that out. Maybe February or March, probably more like March. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll let you know. And it rises really nicely. Does a nice rise.
Why did Hain stop that?
We don't know, because we did see that their sales they were doing, how much were they doing? 10 million a year or something like that. So Hanes, we looked up to see how much they were doing. I think they were doing, I mean, but it just, obviously it wasn't enough for them to continue to do it. Maybe it was 1 million a year. It was some million number, but obviously, because there's no problem with the ingredients. And our ingredients are we doing the same ingredients that were in the Hain? Yeah, we're doing the same ingredients in Hain that they had.
Good. Great.
So anyway, let's see if there's anything. I just want to make sure. I think we covered everything here. And I really want people to watch your cooking videos, because if people want to laugh, I don't think you all are trying to be funny. I mean, I laugh thinking about it. It's just your two personalities together, and the fact that you've spent your lives together, and it's how you relate to each other. It's very, very funny.
You could, I think someone said, I think a therapist, somebody said to me, well, like, people will watch family do anything. People will watch because there's something that adds a layer of fascination around family. So there's not one scripted word. I mean, we have our recipe with us sometimes. Sometimes we're like, oh, mommy's like, you always like, I ate it last night. I didn't know it was for the demos, or just, we'll figure it out. But it's not scripted. And honestly, I think because during COVID, I did some stuff alone and it just didn't do that well. And whenever she has been asked to do a video alone, she says, no, I refuse. So the special sauce is in this togetherness thing, which is wonderful.
You know, one time we were on a cruise doing recipes, and
Well,
The two of you?
we went to the holistic holiday at sea.
and they
Did y'all share a little a cabin together?
Oh no, she was with my dad and I had my own
okay,
cabin.
okay.
no, and they Jane gave them all what we needed for their
7 months ahead of time, they wanted our list of stuff because they have to pack the pallet, wrap it up, ship it to the port, put the port on the
Right.
ship, put it in the freezer and let it stay there.
So we get there for our demo with a big audience,
And everyone's sitting there.
and guess what? None of or not really
No food
our
arrived.
ingredients.
Nothing.
So we were really terrific at pretending.
We improv. We opened
This
a can.
is 1/2 teaspoon of Hain no salt added baking powder.
Ooh. And people got into it. It was like watching Shakespeare. You get into the rhythm of what you're being presented
You
with.
can just make it up.
But you made something.
No, there was 0 ingredients. They had used our mangoes and
Oh, I see. So
they
you
got-
had you
They
just did
hijacked our
okay.
ingredients, put them in someone else's zone. Or they were gone. There was not
So
one
we
thing.
just had to pretend.
We improved our demos. They paid us
Wow.
to come and do improv.
And people enjoyed it.
They stayed.
Well, I want you to do more of those talent shows too.
Oh, did you watch our talent show?
Yes, I think it's very good. I think it's very good letting plant-based people enter enter things in their talent in this talent show. And I especially
Great
love watching Furman dance.
Oh God. I felt
dance
so
on-
happy. I was like, can we does he know he's going to be dancing in front of people? Because he's out there just shaking it around. And I thought, all right, she submitted it. She must have permission from him.
Has he seen it? Do you know?
I don't know.
It was very fun. How he was like moving around on the stage. Almost like reminded me. Do you remember It's a Mad, 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 Mad World, the movie? Do you remember it? If you have never seen it, Jane, you need to rent it. Somehow you need to get it. It's an old
I remember it with
comedy.
the palm trees in the end with a W.
Yes, 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 right. Well, do you remember that son that would do the dance to the bongo drums and dance around that room all the time? And his mother was trying to call him. That was like Jill. That was good. No, I think the talent show's good. I think what you're doing is good. And I think yeah, it's very good. It's excellent. A
Thank
friend
you.
of mine is a famous.
What you're doing is excellent.
No, and but I want to just, if I can say, thank you for making that comment, because, it was the first time, but we got so many just randomly out of the blue, people sending us a song or like poems or lyrics to songs. I thought, what am I supposed to do with this stuff? It's really beautiful and creative. I was like, I want to give it right back to everybody in a same sort of appreciative way.
Yeah,
So
people, want to express themselves. But I have a friend who's a famous screenwriter. He watches your YouTube channel and loves it.
How funny.
Yep. Yep. So it gets around.
I know we can't get through the grocery store without being recognized, or the airport.
Really?
That's
Yeah.
so
I
funny.
mean, think if we go to places where there's not a lot of plant-based eaters, like maybe at a Target, we probably aren't recognized.
Or come
Actually,
down to Missouri. Come to Missouri. You probably wouldn't be recognized down here.
there you go. There you go. Yeah,
We
exactly.
may surprise you.
You might.
You can go to Missouri.
Thank you all for coming. I think we've covered everything, and you know how to get in touch with Anne and Jane Esselstyn. You know how to watch their videos. And so thank you so much for being on the show today and your time.
Thank
It's
you.
been fun. You gave me some good laughter. I don't think you meant to, but you gave me some good laughs.